Hey there! Welcome back to Everyday English, where we don't just learn English, we live it through stories. Today's story is called The Train to Somewhere. It's a calm, emotional story about two strangers, a train ride, and one small conversation that, well, meant a lot more than they expected. I'll be explaining some new or tricky words and phrases along the way, just like a friend would. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Maya was standing on platform 6. That's the part of the train station where people wait to board the train. Platform is the raised area beside the train tracks. She had her suitcase next to her and her earbuds in, the small headphones. She was trying to block out all the noise around her. When I say block out, I mean she was trying not to hear it, like ignoring the chaos of the station. It had been a long day, and her train? Running late. Again. Running late just means it wasn't on time. Happens way too often with trains, doesn't it? Now Maya looked tired. But not just in the way someone looks after a long day of walking. She looked tired on the inside, too. You know when someone's eyes are kind of blank and their shoulders are slouched? Slouched means your body is a little bent forward, usually when you're tired or sad. And she was just staring at the schedule screen without really seeing it. Like her mind was somewhere else entirely. Finally, the train pulled in. That means it arrived at the platform. Maya got on, found a spot, and sat down next to a man holding a book. He looked to be in his mid-30s, not too young, not too old. He smiled politely, then went back to reading. She settled into her seat, plugged her earbuds back in, and pressed play on her playlist. She was trying to lose herself in the music. That phrase, lose yourself in something, means to focus so deeply that you kind of forget the world around you. It's something people do when they need a mental escape. But the thing was, her mind was loud. Have you ever felt that? When your thoughts are racing and no song can quiet them. Then she sighed. One of those deep, tired sighs. A sigh is when you let out your breath heavily. Usually because you're tired, frustrated, or overwhelmed. The man beside her looked up. Tough day? He asked. She hesitated, just for a second, and then gave a little nod. Yeah, she said. Pretty tough. And, just like that, they started talking. First, a few sentences. Then more. Maya told him she had just quit her job. Yeah, she had actually walked away from something she once loved. Quit means she chose to leave, not fired, not laid off. It was her decision. But over time, it had drained her. It didn't make her feel proud anymore. And he listened. Quietly. Kindly. Then shared that he was just returning from visiting his father, who was sick. The mood shifted a little, like there was this quiet understanding between them. Two strangers, but somehow not strange anymore. They talked about everything. Books they'd read. Jobs they'd lost. Regrets they still carried. A regret, by the way, is something you wish you had done differently. They talked about small joys and about dreams they had put on hold. Maya looked out the window and said, "Sometimes I wonder if I'm meant to do more than just survive." She didn't say it loudly, but it felt heavy. To survive, that means to keep going, to live, but not necessarily to enjoy it. She meant, maybe she was made to feel alive, not just to exist. The man nodded, and then he said something that stayed with her. He said, surviving is already something. But yeah, maybe we're meant to feel more alive. That hit different. They sat in silence after that. But not the awkward kind. The kind of silence that feels full, comfortable, like the words were still floating in the air. Then, over the speaker. Next stop, Riverbridge Station. That was Maya's stop. She grabbed her bag and stood up slowly. And before leaving, she looked at him and said, "I'm really glad I sat here today." He smiled. "Sometimes," he replied, "a good stranger is all we need." A stranger, of course, is someone you don't know. But here, it meant more, someone you never expected, but who shows up exactly when you need them. Maya stepped out into the cold night air. It hit her face like a reminder that life was still out there, still moving. But something inside her had shifted. She still had problems, still had questions, but now her chest felt lighter. When we say your chest feels lighter, it means you feel emotionally free, like a weight was lifted. That short conversation didn't solve everything, but it helped. Sometimes that's enough. And that was the train to somewhere. A reminder that even on the hardest days, a small conversation with a kind stranger can change how we carry things inside. Thanks for listening to Everyday English. I hope today's story helped you learn not just new words, but a little something about people, too. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and maybe share this with someone who could use a little quiet story in their day. See you next time.